see you on the road someday. You just can't do it. Parallel park on a hill, so no good. Mon permis de conduire. And she said, ah, 2 different red lights, 2 different exams. Un échec total, driving while American in France. Bonjour, salut, comment ça va? Moi, je suis Karen. I'm Karen. Welcome to my channel. Bienvenue à ma chaîne. I am an American living in France, and I talk here about everything from my business to my writing, design inspirations, and all things living in France and the French language. Today is part 3 in the continuing saga of Can I Get My French Driving License, Please? Mon permis de conduire. If you are in any way interested in the first part of this journey, which has been taking longer than I thought it would, please watch the other 2 videos that I've made about this. Okay, so just to recap, I think where we left off last time in part 2, I was pretty sure that I had failed my second attempt at the road test. I'm pretty sure I failed it again. In France, if you have to take the driving exam, it's a 2-part exam. The first is the written test. That's called le code de la route. It's like the rules of the road. And then only after you pass that test can you then go on to take la pratique, which is the road test. I have done that part twice. The first time I ran a red light. The second time I ran a red light. Watch the whole long story so you can see why I ran a red light twice. 2 different red lights, 2 different exams. And that, despite having an otherwise really good score, that is called a faute éliminatoire, and that means you just can't do it. So I did get my official results from the second test about a week later after I took it last time, and yes, indeed, it was un échec total, a total failure. So with that, my driving school was not too keen on getting me a new date right away. They actually told me that they had to give priority to the people who were taking the test for the first time. That kind of made me feel bad, but I don't know, maybe it's true. It took about a month for me to get my 3rd exam date, and I just completed that exam. Hello everyone. Il est très tôt. Encore une fois, I'm on my way to my 3rd road test for my French driving permit. I do have my driving license in the States, have had it for a very long time. And I come from a state, New York, where there is no réciprocité. There's no agreement between New York State and France to exchange driver licenses. So unlike some of my friends who have recently moved here and just literally exchanged their driving licenses, I am going through the whole process. We are really hoping today will be better, and let's see. On va voir ce qui se passe. Right now, I'm on my way to the metro. I have to take 2 metro to another train, a long-distance train, to go to Fontainebleau, which is where my driving school is, and it's next to a small town called Avon, where the exam actually will be. All in all, I think it'll take about an hour and 40 minutes to get there. But it's much less expensive than doing it in Paris. So that's why we're doing it. You know, I've taken a few lessons in preparation, but not since my last failure. I simply refused to take any more lessons because it wasn't a lesson situation, that it was just a stupid mistake that I made. Because of that, I haven't been in the car that belongs to the driving school. C'est pourquoi je suis un peu nerveuse, un peu anxieuse, parce que j'ai pas conduit récemment. Et du coup, je vais faire de mon mieux. Et qu'est-ce que je peux dire? Let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. 3 times a charm. I'm smiling now. We all know how that turned out last time. But I'm going to remain optimistic. Okay. Hello again. I've made it to Fontainebleau. I'm now on the last part of my journey to get to the exam center. There was a bit of a scare on the train because it stopped in the middle of nowhere for about 15 minutes with the conductor seeming not to know like what was going on. But fortunately, everything is good. The sky is blue. The trees are a bloomin'. How cute. All I got to do is get through this exam. I know my stuff. I've been here before 2 times. So let's do this. All right. Woo! Get pumped. Okay, I just finished my exam, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure. The good news, I did not run any red lights this time, so that's an improvement. But there was one tiny little moment where she touched the steering wheel. We were on a little tiny side street. There was absolutely nothing going wrong, but she wanted me to wait longer to make it. It's not even a turn, it's just a little curve in the road, and she touched the wheel. And I have heard if they touch the wheel, it's mort. So let's see what happens. But other than that, I think I did okay. I felt nervous, but I just kept telling myself, like, you know what you're doing. Just, man, she doesn't make it easy at all. I feel like she's throwing like every trick and trap, you know, that there is. But anyway, we'll see. She said I'll have the results in a few days. I don't know if I can do it a fourth time, so I'm not feeling super confident right now, though. Anyway, on va voir. Back to Paris. And just got my results. So I failed again. What can I say? It wasn't a red light this time. It was not a red light this time. And I have the general result. I haven't yet received the official breakdown where they actually show you all the points that you did get. There's a note, if there's like a faute éliminatoire, it will say what happened. There was only one moment where anything strange happened, and that was a moment fairly early on in the exam when we were driving on a small street. And we were in the part of the exam called l'autonome. So it's when they're telling you to just drive the car. They give you a sense of which direction you should take. So she told me to follow certain signs. I was just supposed to drive through the village and follow the signs that said XYZ. I was doing that, no problem at all. Very quiet village, small streets. A few parked cars, but nothing untoward. We have this sometimes in the States, but I have seen it very rarely. But in these small villages, there's often, instead of a speed bump that you go over, there's like a little piece of the sidewalk that comes out, and it just forces you to slow down because you have to navigate around it. The street gets more narrow, and then it opens up again and you go back into your lane. Okay, fine, no big deal. I saw it. I see them all the time here. They're everywhere. I was in no way feeling unconfident about that, and I was in the middle of doing it when suddenly the examiner, who by the way was the same examiner that I had on the second time, she touched the wheel and she said, be careful, if you turn back too soon you'll risk hitting the sidewalk. But I could see the sidewalk and I wasn't anywhere near it, and my car is electric with the motors on it. It would have notified me if I was getting too close to the sidewalk. So it was very strange, but she touched le volant. Elle a touché le volant. If they touch the steering wheel or any of the equipment in the car, like to alter what's going on, that's it. So I didn't really realize it at the time. She touched the steering wheel. It was so fleeting. It was like for a second. And then I just said, okay, merci. And we continued on with the rest of the exam. And I did a créneau, which is a parallel parking. I believe I answered the verbal questions correctly, because they can ask you questions about the equipment in the car, either interior or exterior, and they can also ask you about premier secours, which is the first aid in case of an accident. And I think I got all or most of those right. So other than that one little instant, I didn't really foresee any problems whatsoever. But you know, I've taken it 3 times now. My family are just like, here in France, they're just like, well, they all know someone who has failed it at least 3 times. I mean, including French people. And of course I am on some of the Facebook pages for Americans driving in France, which if you are an American who wants to drive in France or who is planning to move to France and will want to know what to do about your driving license, it's a great page on Facebook. It seems most of the time people are having difficulty because of the French language, and that's not my problem at all. I just seem to either be doing something stupid during the exam, or I don't know what. I'm asking myself this question. I'm not sure what to do next, except for that I know I am going to take it a 4th time. I was feeling really dejected about it right away, just because it's stressful. It's very stressful to get yourself like pumped up for this driving exam. And I feel like, honestly, I may have said this before, but I'm a person with a lot of confidence, and I find that this experience is chipping away at my confidence a little bit, because I consider myself an excellent driver. I mean, I drove for gosh, over 20 years in New York City, and I come from Ohio, where I learned to drive even a stick shift parallel park on a hill. So it just seems like I'm having super bad luck on the days of the exam. My sweet husband tells me that he thinks I'm a very good driver. So, but then again, he also teases me that he's gonna have to get me an electric bike or a microcar, which I did not know existed. There are little tiny cars, not smart cars. They're like less than a smart car, and you can drive them with no driver's license. So I said, no, I'm from Ohio originally. I have to have a driver's license. It's part of my identity. That's it. That's the update. I now have to wait. They said there was a delay of 10 days before I can take it again, but I think that the driving school will do the same thing for me and make me wait another month or two. So since I have to travel so far, as I've told you all before, it takes a long time to get there, like 2.5 hours. I'm gonna try to get them to schedule me for a couple more lessons on weekends to build my confidence back up again, and then try again. Gotta keep going. And this is a great lesson in life. When things don't work out the first time or the second time or the third time, just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. They're not going to get me. I'm going to get my French driver's license. J'aurai mon permis de conduire. So thanks for being with me on this journey. Let's see where it goes from here. I'm going to get a new date, and I will keep you posted. Honk honk. See you on the road someday. And subscribe to my channel if you're interested in knowing when the videos come out. All right. Take care. Bonne journée.